Between Los Angeles and Las Vegas lies the Mojave National Preserve, a protected area spanning approximately 1.6 million acres. Established in 1994, the preserve defends diverse desert ecosystems and traces of human history. In this video, we explore the preserve's landmarks, from historic rail depots and ancient dunes to the rugged Mojave Road and remote springs. Railroads opened the desert to travelers and miners. The Kelso Depot, constructed in 1923 to 1924 by the Los Angeles and Salt Lake Railroad, later acquired by Union Pacific, combined Spanish colonial and mission revival styles. It served as a station and lunchroom, supplied water for steam locomotives, and acted as a clubhouse for railroad staff and the local miners. Inside, you can picture the hustle of the 1930s. The lunchroom's original coffee urns and tableware recall an era when the depot's manicured gardens created a desert oasis. Exhibits showcase the lives of early settlers, miners, and railroad workers. Original baggage rooms, conductors' rooms, and ticket offices have been restored. Passenger service ended in 1964, and the lunchroom closed in 1985. After a campaign to prevent demolition, the building was transferred to the National Park Service and reopened as the park's main visitor center in 2005. As of late 2025, the visitor center is closed for upgrades to its heating and cooling systems and is scheduled to reopen in 2026. West of the depot lie the Kelso Dunes. Rising to about 600 feet, these dunes form the third largest dune field in North America. The hike to the top is a 3-mile round trip with 600 feet of elevation gain, offering hikers panoramic desert views. The dunes originated from ancient lakes. Around 25,000 years ago, the Mojave River filled Lake Mannix. When it drained, winds carried the exposed sediments toward the Providence and Granite Mountains. Eddies caused sand to accumulate between 2,400 and 9,000 years ago. Although dune crests shift 30 to 40 feet each year, the overall position of the field remains stable. Under the right conditions, sliding sand triggers a natural phenomenon known as the booming dunes. Only a few dune fields in North America produce this deep, rumbling sound, which happens when dry, uniform grains move together. Kelso dunes support unique life. Endemic insects and reptiles like the Mojave fringe-toed lizard have adapted to the shifting sands, while kit foxes, kangaroo rats, coyotes, and even desert tortoises leave traces in the dunes. Along the eastern side of the preserve, the landscape suddenly changes. Dozens of volcanic cinder cones rise from a dark blanket of lava flows. Geologists estimate that at least 30 cinder cones formed here starting about 7.6 million years ago, with the last eruptions occurring roughly 10,000 years ago. This cluster of cones and lava flows was designated the Cinder Cones and Lava Flow National Natural Landmark in 1973. Cinder cones form when gas-charged magma erupts explosively, throwing molten rock into the air. The fragments cool instantly, fall back to Earth, and pile into steep-sided cones. Basaltic lava oozing from vents between the cones creates smooth, rope-textured flows visible across the landscape. One of the most memorable adventures here is exploring a lava tube. After driving about 5 miles down rough Aiken Mine Road, high-clearance vehicles are recommended, you'll reach a primitive parking area. From there, a short rocky trail leads to a collapsed section of roof where sunlight streams into the tube. A sturdy metal ladder drops into the tube's main chamber, which is only about 50 feet long but feels otherworldly. During midday, narrow shafts of light pierce holes in the ceiling, illuminating the walls and creating perfect photo opportunities. As you explore, remember that the tube ceiling is low and the floor uneven. You might need to stoop or crawl under a low section to reach the largest room. Watch your step and bring a flashlight. The National Park Service does not maintain the tube, and loose rocks are common. Standing beneath these ancient lava formations, you're reminded of the dynamic forces that shaped the Mojave Desert. Exploring the cinder cones and climbing down into the lava tube are highlights of a visit to Mojave National Preserve, offering a unique glimpse into its fiery past. The Mojave Road is a 138-mile historic route crossing the preserve. Originally a network of indigenous trails connecting water sources such as Pute Springs, Rock, and Soda Springs, it later became an overland wagon road built with congressional funding between 1857 and 1860. Explorers like Francisco Garcés and Jedediah Smith followed this corridor. After the Civil War, the Mojave Road was the main mail route between Southern California and Arizona. Conflicts over water caused the U.S. Army to build small forts, including Camp Rock Spring, to protect travelers. When the Southern Pacific Railroad reached the area in 1883, traffic decreased and the road was mostly abandoned. Today, adventurers travel the road in high-clearance, four-wheel drive vehicles. The mostly unmaintained track takes 3 days to cross. It remains largely unchanged since prehistoric times, passing through soft sand, lava flows, and dry lakes. Modern interest in the route owes much to historian Dennis Casebeer, who helped map and promote it in the 1980s. He authored the Mojave Road Guide, which is a guide used to travel the route today. One of the Mojave Road's oases is Rock Spring. Overlooking it is the rock house built in 1929 by World War I veteran Bert Smith. Exposed to poison gas during the war, Smith sought dry air to recover and built the stone cabin as the last refuge. He lived another 25 years. Artist Carl Faber later used the cabin in the 1980s, and ruins of a 1930s ore mill stand nearby. A short trail descends to Rock Spring itself. This water source, part of a chain of springs across the desert, sustained Hemahwave and Mojave peoples, later travelers and U.S. Army troops. Camp Rock Spring operated briefly in the late 1860s to protect mail and freight traffic along the Mojave Road. Even during drought, small pools often remain here, providing a welcome sight in the arid landscape. On the southeastern edge of the preserve sits Goff's, a once bustling rail junction on Old Route 66. The 1914 mission-style schoolhouse served children of Santa Fe Railway employees and nearby homesteaders. Its 800-square-foot classroom doubled as a community hall for dances and church services. Classes moved to a new school in 1937. The old building was later used as living quarters and eventually abandoned. In 1998, volunteers from the Mojave Desert Heritage and Cultural Association restored the schoolhouse at a cost of about $150,000, funded by donations. Nearby, a library built in 2008 replicates the 1902 Goff Santa Fe Railway Depot and contains extensive desert archives. Together, these structures preserve the stories of families who lived and worked along this once vital rail line. The National Park Service continues to enhance visitor safety and wildlife protection. In 2024, Mojave Road received major improvements. 18 miles of road were realigned, culverts were added, and 5 miles of desert tortoise fencing were installed to reduce vehicle mortality. Funded by $24 million in federal grants, These upgrades also included vehicle turnouts and wider shoulders. Many of those old 1940s utility poles were removed from the preserve because ravens used them as prime nest and perch sites. Without these elevated lookout points, it's much harder for ravens to spot and swoop down on young tortoises. Fewer perches mean fewer opportunities for ravens to hunt vulnerable hatchlings, which helps boost survival rates for this threatened species. From the hum of passing freight trains to the whisper of wind-shaped dunes, the Mojave National Preserve is a living museum. Its roads and springs tell stories of indigenous peoples, pioneers, railroaders, soldiers, and modern conservationists. Plan ahead, drive carefully, and respect this delicate landscape. To learn more or plan your own trip, explore the resources linked in the comments. Subscribe to our channel to explore the wonders of desert life, from its wild landscapes and wildlife to the vibrant communities that call it home.